the show, and we are going live in 5, 4, 3, 2. We're live.
Good morning, Owasso. This is the Twins with Owasso Live, and this is the Morning Loop. It's currently 8 a.m. like normal. We're actually running a little bit slow today, but like I said, we just had to get our computer restarted, had to run some updates, so apologies there. But it is currently 42 degrees outside. It actually feels a little warmer than 42. There's no wind at all. It is still as can be outside, so nice weather, a light jacket. Probably don't even need that. You could probably just wear a t-shirt out today and be fine, a polo or something. So with that being said, your commute into Tulsa is actually fantastic right now. Traffic was atrocious at 7:30. I got out of the house a little later than I wanted to, but wow, traffic was just, it was difficult getting here, and the highway was backed all the way up to the Y, but now it's just flowing just fine. Like you wouldn't even know we had any traffic issues a while ago. So your commute into Tulsa is going to be A-okay if you haven't left yet. So best of happy travels. Now, that being said, as far as local news goes, there's nothing going on. The only thing that's on the calendar for Owassoisms is that Sensory Skate event on Saturday. So if you want to go to Wheels and Thrills, yeah, go and check that out and have a good time over there. So with national news, it's been a really kind of a slow news week and a slow news day. So we were kind of scrounging for topics to discuss, and we just kind of fell onto a couple of things. So the bird flu could potentially be a thing. I guess there was a case in Texas, and allegedly the bird flu has a 50% kill rate. Yeah. So if this thing turns into, I mean, this will be what they feared COVID could have been. So COVID was really not that bad, and, you know, it was just a more severe, or maybe not even as severe as the flu. And then you have the bird flu, which could actually be something scary. But I just don't know if we as a country are we going to allow ourselves to go back to a lockdown place. I know the Democrats would love to weaponize something like that and be like, hey, no election this year. Bird flu is going to kill everybody. So I don't know. It's an odd thing, but hopefully it doesn't get severe. Hopefully this doesn't spread. Hopefully it's just kind of an isolated incident with this bird flu. But I mean, like I said, we're having lots of diseases we thought we long conquered come back. I mean, wasn't what was the outbreak in
Tuberculosis
in San Francisco?
Yeah.
And
at this point, it wouldn't shock me if cholera came back.
Yeah, holy cow.
And that's another unforeseen consequence that we were talking about yesterday of illegal immigration, because it's in these migrant camps that that people, this is happening.
I mean, it was not just the migrants. I mean, the homeless population and the drug population in San Francisco has led to just needles and crap in the streets because people just don't care. All they care about is getting their drug fix. So leading on to horrible situations that poor states and poor towns have led to horrible decisions. Oregon has basically done a about face or a 180 on all of their pro-drug, pro-criminal, any illegal substance ever. And now they're reversing that, going, yeah, it didn't work out. We thought we could be so this kind of craps in the face of the libertarian argument, going, we should make everything legal. Obviously, that's not working out very well, because if you make everything legal and we can encourage any degenerate, immoral behavior, society's just going to devolve into chaos, drug use, and sexual depravity.
Not wrong.
Yeah.
Not wrong on that.
Now, obviously, I'm not going to blame the entire state of Oregon for this. I mean, Oregon was trying to secede and become, who they were trying to join? They were trying to join Utah or?
Part of it. California and Oregon and Washington, certain parts of Washington were like wanting to become part of Utah to get away from the very liberal laws that they're being passed in the cities.
Yeah. So again, this is what happens whenever the population centers rule the rest of the state. There are, again, we've talked about this before. There are no such thing as
blue states.
Blue states. There's no such thing as a blue state. Only blue cities in red states.
Yep.
And if those population centers dwarf the rest of the state's population in those giant urban centers, then you have the tyranny of the cities against the rest of the state.
Exactly. That's why
That's why popular votes
a
we don't.
bad thing.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people talk about is if you have a bunch of people in the city and they use up all their water supply, and the people out in the country have their wells or
Yeah, we're trying to grow your food, and people in the city go,
go,
we don't care.
We
We
don't
want
need that.
hot
We
showers.
need your water.
Mm-hmm.
And what's going to happen is the tyranny of the majority is going to take away the water supply of the people out in the country that are growing the food just because they need drinking water and showering.
Oh yeah, well no,
like
we want theme park, amusement park water, and we want leisure stuff. We want industrial and Olympic swimming pools, things like that. So that's what you're doing with the tyranny of the majority. It's a thing. It's why we don't do the federal elections by popular vote. But again, the Democrats have done nothing but crap on the Electoral College and crap on the electoral process.
It should only be a popular vote or a majority vote.
So think about that. Remember, there's no such thing as a blue state, just blue cities within red states that population centers dwarf the rest of the state's voting power.
Yep. Which, speaking of which, do you want me to pull up that video of that NGO group that's letting illegals fly into other cities?
Yeah, while you're pulling that up, yeah. So again, Portland, you blew it. You've ruined your city, you ruined your state, and now you're about facing on all that stuff. So, I mean, good that you've learned your lesson, but it's a shame that lesson even had to be learned. It's like, I mean, I guess we should all be thanking Portland for running that ridiculous, dumb social experiment for the rest of us.
I've got it pulled up. Let me go ahead and turn on the volume real quick, and we'll be good to go.
Okay. So, yeah, this is a video of Texas, El Paso. It's not El Paso. It's San Antonio Airport. Illegal immigrants, NGOs bringing illegal immigrants
waiting to
to the
pick up some
airport.
illegals. We had just spoken to some inside from Venezuela and a few different countries. And this is the process here. They come from the Migrant Resource Center. They also have a car parked directly in front of it, a van that's ready to pick up or drop off some people as well. It looks like a pickup though. And this happens all day. Most active hours are between 12 and 4 p.m. This is happening all throughout the night, all throughout the day. So this is just a little glimpse into what goes on a daily basis at San Antonio Airport. This, of course, is happening at airports all around the country. Pretty much any airport that you can possibly think of, this is taking place.
Yeah, but the NGO people try to stand in front of his cameraman and stuff like that. It's wild.
Yeah. Who are these NGOs? Where do they get off?
Oh goodness!
Venezuela?
I just saw a drill sergeant dropping off some, looks like some trainees at the airport.
One actually going to the Migrant Resource Center, and then you had a
Bringing
drop
back
off right there. It's a normal day at San Antonio Airport. So the NGO is instructing them not to talk to me as they're checking them in, which is quite funny in my opinion. They don't like me very much. I wonder why, exposing what's going on. But there's a illegal immigrant they're briefing. They're literally pointing at me right now. That's hilarious. I guarantee you when I ask this guy where he's from, he will not answer when I ask him where he's going to.
Everyone is just like, they're not doing this. Like I said, all the biggest fears that we all had about Democrats, like, Democrats are trying to smuggle in people into the country.
Donde eres?
Lo and behold, we have NGO groups that are actually doing
NGOs that are funded by
They've instructed
they
them
said non-government
specifically not to
organizations,
answer
but they're
any questions.
subsidized by
That
the
was
government.
hilarious. Why are
Tax-free
they trying to hide where
organizations
these people are from,
run
or
by
why are they
or
trying
by
to hide where
world
these people are
organizations
going?
like the Soros Foundation. And
Pretty
stuff
obvious.
Like that.
Yeah, that's the NGO workers that facilitate all the human smuggling through the airports. So they got a private San Antonio PD officer. Why are you instructing illegals not to talk to me? All I'm asking is where they're from and where they're going.
Is there a reason?
Well, let's see. Do we have a number for that?
I think we do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're gonna refer me to the city card. Thanks. You guys did that last time too.
Oh, so you have it?
Yeah, we got it.
Okay.
They don't answer questions just like you guys do.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
But why are you specifically instructing them not to talk to me as a reporter? When all I'm asking is, where are they from? Where are you going?
again, you have the information to follow.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll take one of those from you again.
Actually, no, you have to take a picture of it.
Oh, that's what you said last time. But you have physical copies, but I can't take
No,
one.
it's not all of them are the same.
Thank you so much.
Perfect.
Thank you. No, we'll just talk to him on the other side of
Yeah,
security.
then they can't go through
Thank
because
you.
the NGO people don't have
Don't they
tickets,
Eris?
so they can't go through. But they're actually going to fly back home or wherever they're going, so they go through to talk to the NGOs that they weren't allowed to talk to on this side. On this side, you just ask them where they're from and where they're going. They're mostly from Venezuela.
Yeah, if you know
Venezuela?
anything about the world map, Venezuela is not the closest country to the U.S.
Don't they Eris?
So these clearly aren't asylum seekers. They're economic
Eris.
migrants.
Venezuela?
Criminal aliens.
Yeah, criminal aliens that are just coming here because they want.
They want free stuff.
Where?
They want to live on the taxpayers' expense.
If you look at
Venezuela?
the dudes are literally like wearing like chains and wearing
Donde
like
eres?
Nikes.
Guatemala.
Guatemala?
They're not dressed
Guatemala?
for podunk.
All Guatemala? Then
They're not, it's
donde
not
vas?
rags they're wearing.
Missouri.
Missouri?
They
Go
don't
to
exactly
Missouri,
look
too?
like they're.
Missouri?
They walked across,
Where?
100 miles of border
New York?
to get here.
Donde Eris? Venezuela. Donde vas? Chicago.
This guy even has like trimmed beard, a fresh fade. This one guy he's talking to right now is like,
Venezuela.
what is going on?
A fresh face.
Atlanta. Florida.
I'll go ahead and end it there because it's a long video. But I mean, just like
Guatemala as well.
it's insane. There's literally this is happening.
Yeah.
All our biggest concerns and fears are all like proven true by this video.
Thanks to that journalist and Tenet Media for putting that out.
Yeah,
That's,
which that's
good
temple-
journalism done by them.
Yeah, that's a bunch of the that's all the kind of conservative independent commentators that have that Tenet Media.
So, yeah, that's what you're dealing with, folks. We're fighting NGOs and these people. I mean, the only benefit to these people is that they're getting paid to do this job, these NGO like workers. But what benefit does this have to the rest of the country? None. None. Just sending unskilled laborers across the country to collect welfare until they allegedly can make enough money, get a visa, or get enough money to become taxpayers, which might never happen. We're importing a permanent working class.
Yep.
And again, if you want economic mobility, you want to move from the lower class to the middle class, from the middle class to the upper class, you cannot have unfettered immigration. You have to have people who can negotiate their wages. Like, if you are a young, unskilled laborer coming into the workforce, you have less negotiating power the more unskilled laborers are in the market. So you come in and go, hey, look, I want to do this job, but I'm not going to do it for less than $15 an hour. I'm like, well, hell, we don't need you. We got this, we got Jorge over here who will do it for $7. And he's tax-free because he doesn't have
He doesn't
we
have
can
a
pay
green
him under
card.
the table.
Exactly.
This is the reality, folks. If you're in a union, you should despise illegal immigration. If you're a low-skill laborer, you should despise illegal immigration.
Yep. Especially considering how much, like, I've seen union people just, like, go after scabs. Anybody that they consider a scab, like, they'll literally, like, almost beat, threaten, and, run out of town.
Yeah. So, I tell you, and again, we've had this argument before. The give and take can be, for those of you who want open borders, fine, we'll let you have open borders, but you can't have a welfare state. No government benefits to anyone ever. But if you want welfare and you want health care,
Closed borders.
close borders. I'm talking, firing squads on the borders. Anybody comes across to try to get access to our goods and
Welfare
services,
systems. Yep.
they're done. I mean, is that the world you want? Because that's the world you have to create for a socialist utopia. So, those are your choices. Choose wisely. Honestly, I'd prefer open borders and no welfare state.
Same.
I think you'd see more prosperity.
Same.
But like I said, nobody's going to come here if there's no incentive or benefit to do so, except for the hyper motivated, super hard workers. I'd be like, you telling me they don't have a welfare state and you can go there and just work as hard as you have to make as much money as you need to? And people are like, yeah. Like, okay, cool, I'm in. Then you get the hyper motivated people to come, and that's what you want. We don't want these people who are being like standing in food lines and taking food, these immigrants who are in New York going, we want hot meals and we want hotel rooms. It's like, well, what about our homeless and homeless veterans that are already here that are living out in the street? We can house these migrants, these criminal aliens, but we can't house them. Like I said, we got to focus on our problems here before we go out and start solving problems out in the world.
Exactly what we were talking about the other day regarding you have to learn it's yourself, focus on yourself, focus on your family, focus on your friends, community, town, city, and work your way out from there. It's not start out and then come in. It's start in and work your way out.
Yeah, Democrat logic. We'll figure it out. We have unlimited money. We can print as much money as we need to. Well, if we can print as much money as we need to, then taxation really is theft. What are we paying taxes for if they can just print money?
Honestly, yes.
Yeah.
Not wrong.
So, yeah. In this world we live in, we can't even cultivate a civil dialogue between the parties because the Overton window has shifted so far to the left that something as reasonable as, yeah, I don't think we should chop little kids' body parts off before they become adults. And that's considered right-wing bigotry, right-wing hatred. No reasonable discourse can be had with people like that. So there was another video that you had, Chad, that you pulled up. It's actually the thumbnail is that crazy lunatic.
That
dude.
guy cusses a lot. I don't know if I can actually play that.
Yeah. You got the picture. You can just show the
I'm pulling
picture.
it up right
So yeah, this fella, he was cursing out the police. And where is he from? What city?
I think he's New York. 'Cause I think this is in regards to like Trump speaking at that funeral of that soldier. I think he said
that
Cedar
police officer.
Falls
Yeah,
or
the
something
Cedar
like
Falls.
that.
Yeah, so there was a bunch of Trump gave a speech at Cedar Falls, and there was a bunch of police officers on stage with him. And this crazy dude that Chad's about to pull up a picture of. It's actually the thumbnail of our video today. He's just going nuts, going F the police for doing this. This is a constitutional crisis, and they're standing up there with a criminal. And again, this is what happens when the media lies and manipulates discourse. Then the narrative isn't the truth. The narrative is the narrative. It's the weaponization of half-truths or just straight, flat-out lies and manipulation, because you can't have civil discourse with people who think Trump should be in jail. Trump was not convicted of any wrongdoing on January 6th in Congress. I mean, Congress had to convict him. Now, you can say, oh, the Republicans would never have convicted him. And I guess you can say that that's an argument. But again, he still had to be convicted. And you're talking about all these, sexual assault charges and allegations coming out. Nothing's been proven at all. There's and same with his business fraud stuff. Like we talked about, the Jon Stewart committed the same fraud as Donald Trump. And all these real estate moguls are coming out and going, yeah, Donald Trump didn't do anything wrong. He hasn't been convicted of anything. A judge arbitrarily said that he falsified documents. Yeah. That's not a civil case, and that's not a criminal court. So all these people who are having this, who are posting these TikToks, who are posting these crazy conspiracy theories, and they're not even conspiracy theories, so just these, they're regurgitating the media they've been consuming. And if you believe that Donald Trump is all the things that the media says he is, then of course you're going to be nuts anytime he's brought up in conversation. You're going to have TDS, Trump Derangement Syndrome. And if you can't even have if his name or just him being alive irritates you so much that you can't even have a reasonable discourse with anybody willing to talk about having a reasonable conversation about political issues today that we're facing, then nothing's going to get done. Yeah. But that's what they want. They want the media is weaponizing people who are just casual consumers of the news, because if you're convicted in the headlines and you're convicted in lies and half-truths and manipulations, and all people read are the headlines. So if all you read is the headlines, you go, Donald Trump did this, and you see that every single day, Well, of course you're going to be like, oh, he's guilty. I didn't read the article, but I saw the headlines. You don't read that 3 months later there was a retraction posted. 3 months later, the court case was dropped, acquitted of all charges. You don't read that stuff. All you read is, oh, he's in court. And then 3 months later, like, did he lose yet? Or you just assume he lost because the media makes it feel like he lost.
Yep. They just want him to lose that bad that they just assume that he's going to. And like this guy even says like he's had 90 accounts of fraud or whatever. He's been indicted 90 times. Indicted doesn't mean anything. Convictions mean everything.
Yes. An indictment is not the same as a conviction. I mean, an indictment, you could be indicted for saying for messing up a date in Congress. You could be like, yeah, I was doing this, talking on my cell phone to my wife at 8:30 at night on Tuesday the 6th. Well, according to this, we're indicting you because that's a lie. It was Tuesday the 7th, and you're like, oh, my bad. I thought it was the 6th. That's what they can indict you on. Something like that, like you messing up a date or misspeaking.
Yeah. That's why lawyers will tell people, don't go into specifics unless you know for a fact. Just say approximate or I can only assume. That's why your words is there. If you say anything a matter of factly, they can come after you for
the more
perjury.
you speak, the more rope you give to hang yourself with. That's how it works when people are trying to prosecute you or build a case against you. And in Trump's case, everything he says is used against him. They cut clips. They lie. They edit things deceptively to make him look worse. I mean, if they can do this to Donald Trump, I mean, what do you imagine the average Joe here? It's like that one lady in Oklahoma. She got the FBI came to her house because of social media posts.
Yep, the FBI visited her in Stillwater for making a anti-Biden post regarding like a criminal that had killed like her family member.
Yeah. So there you go, folks. I mean, what help do we have if Donald Trump has a lot of money? The guy's wealthy. He's well off. What hope do you have as the average person, the average citizen? It's like when we were talking about yesterday, the UK saying that the UK police saying that they're going to come after people who make disparaging posts on social media against protected classes and marginalized groups. What you're seeing here, that is a manifestation of what happened to that lady in Stillwater is a manifestation of that. So keep that in mind.
And then speaking of like how we're talking about voting issues that we're even having right now, is Ireland is allowing asylum seekers and migrants to vote in their elections. They just had a referendum that said that they're allowed to.
Ireland is a silly place. So again, it's not far around the corner. They're pushing left and right to what it seems to me like to destroy the fabric of our society. To let people vote in your elections that have no ties to your country. It's like, oh, I just got here. Well, start voting. And of course, people are always going to vote stuff to themselves. It's like, well, this is the part that's going to give you more welfare, more benefits. Sweet. You mean I don't have to work?
Well, I even had this conversation with a friend of mine that was more on the liberal side the other day. Mm-hmm. And he was like, man, I think I'm just going to vote Democrat. I've always voted Democrat. I'm never going to make, he's going to probably be a teacher. He's like, I'm never going to make more than, X amount of dollars. So voting Democrat just makes sense. And I said, but everything was cheaper and economically feasible under Trump. Gas was the cheapest it's ever been. Groceries are not nearly as high as they are now. He's like, I guess you're right. And I was like, yeah, What do you have? I said, what has happened under Biden that has been like, everything's much more affordable now. I'm going to make more money. I said, nothing like that has happened.
Yeah, it's always comes down to it. Even that argument he made, a selfish argument in the grand scheme of things. It's like, well, I'm not going to make that much money, so why would I vote to help other people maintain their wealth? Why would you vote to take away other people's wealth?
No. They obviously know how to make money better than the government does.
Yeah.
So let them keep their money because they obviously know how to invest it to make more money versus the government, which just takes it and then wastes it somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. So Yeah. Again, we're sitting here trying to figure out the world's problems, and that's why we're doing this. We got this podcast just so we can kind of put our thoughts out there about stuff and keep you informed on news that we think is important to us. So
Very relevant.
very relevant to us. So that's just how we feel on the matters today. There will be no show tomorrow. We will be heading out to drill this upcoming weekend, so we will be gone early in the morning tomorrow. So you'll have to go on a news day Friday without us. But as slow as the news week's been, I mean, unless like a Taiwanese earthquake hits as bad like it did over there, then I really don't think there's going to be a whole lot to talk about here in Owasso. So enjoy your weekend. We will try to enjoy our weekend. So God bless everyone. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you too can stay in the loop. And have a wonderful day. See you, everybody.
See you later, everyone.